Hello, this is Mrs. Collier, and today we're going to talk about author's purpose. So first I'm going to bring up this image that I had found that I like as a good explanation for author's purpose. So in third grade, we're going to have 4 different purposes that we talk about for reasons an author writes. So when it says author's purpose, it's the reason the author wrote. So for P, we have persuade. The author tries to convince the reader of something, maybe an article about how to save an endangered animal. I know we had some of those at the beginning of the year. It could be that you had to write a story or a paragraph trying to persuade someone to agree with you about the chocolate is the best ice cream or whatever it may be. You're trying to make them believe, convince them to agree that you are right in whatever it is you're saying. When you're trying to persuade, maybe you try to persuade your parents to let you stay up later or to have an additional dessert. You're trying to convince them that's a good idea. So authors do that too. Then we have inform that starts with an I. The author gives information about a topic. It's usually nonfiction books, so non-fake or not fake, and they can have facts. Sometimes it's animals. We have read some that were about space. It's just when it's giving you information. Then we have our first E, explain. So the author writes the steps the reader will follow. Directions on how to build a birdhouse are a good example. So if you could write a paper or paragraph about how to build a birdhouse. You could write a paragraph about how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And you give the steps, get out your bread, get out your peanut butter, get out your jelly, get out a knife, get out a spoon, however you make it. Then the next step. Then put peanut butter on one piece of bread, put jelly on the other piece of bread. However you make it, but you're giving step by step. It can be listed by numbers or it can say first, next, then, and finally. But it's basically just steps explaining how to do something or directions on how to do something. Then we have entertain. The author writes something the reader will enjoy. So it's our fiction books. It can be chapter books. It's going to be the things that are more enjoyable to read. They're not going to be true. The folk tale that we read this week, it it was to entertain. It was lighthearted. It was funny with the animals talking and with Martina trying to find a husband. And, a cockroach wouldn't marry a rooster or a pig or a lizard or a mouse. So it was just meant to entertain. So again, we have persuade, which is to convince, inform, which is giving information, explain is going to have steps or directions on how to do something, and entertain, the author is writing something that they want you to enjoy. So now let's open up the actual assignment. See if I can leave this up here too. So I'm going to open it with Cami, even though I'm not going to type on it. And then I'm going to open up the assignment itself and do it with Cami. Okay, so now this particular sheet does not have the explain option. Sometimes you will not have that as an option, and sometimes you will in third grade. So this particular one is just looking for P for persuade, I for inform, or E for entertain. So let's read the first one. Once upon a time, a boy went to the market to sell his cow, but instead he traded his cow for some magic beans. So if we look back, would that be to persuade, to inform, to explain, or to entertain? What was the author trying to do? Were they trying to convince you, give you information, give you steps or directions, or for you to enjoy? They wanted you to enjoy, so that one would be an E. Number 2, river otters live on both land and in the water. They like to eat crabs and are excellent swimmers. So let's go back and look at it. We have persuade or convince, inform, information, explain, steps or directions, or entertain, enjoy. So, river otters live on both land and in water. They like to eat crabs and are excellent swimmers. Think about it. This one is I. This one is giving us a lot of information. I mean, it's only a couple of sentences, but it gives us a lot of information about river otters in those few sentences. Number 3. Oh, this goes back to our science. Plants are called producers, and we are studying those in science right now. They give us food to eat and oxygen to breathe. Did you know that plants make their own food in a process called photosynthesis? And photosynthesis is when they take water, they take carbon dioxide from the air, and they take sunlight, and they are then able to make their own food and to give us oxygen. So it's a wonderful thing all the way around. So now they have given us a lot of information, and then I've added some information on top. So I think this one was to inform. Let's do one more together. This one says, vote for me for class president. I'm the best person for the job. So, are they trying to persuade or convince? Inform, giving information. Explain, giving steps or directions. Or entertain, for you to enjoy. See what it said again. Vote for me for class president. I'm the best person for the job. I think they're trying to convince people to vote for them, so they are doing persuade. So read through the rest of these and just put the letter that you think it will be. If you're having any trouble, join me for a Google Meet and I'll be glad to help you. Thank you.